All right, another top story. Amazon will meet with FTC Chair Lina Khan next week in a final push to avoid an antitrust lawsuit over the e-commerce giant's marketplace for third-party sellers. That, according to Bloomberg sources. Joining us now, Adam Kovacevic, Chamber of Progress founder and CEO. What do you make of this? Either we are closer towards a showdown between Amazon and the FTC, or we're close to avoiding one. What's your assessment?
Well, I don't think we're close to avoiding one, and I think that's partly because Lina Khan has made her name as an Amazon critic, right? Her claim to fame originally was her 2017 law review paper, which articulated her view that while Amazon probably has pro-consumer justifications for its behavior, she believed that it was doing harm to, rival retailers and to online sellers. And she, again, 6 years ago called for an expansion of antitrust law to deal with what she viewed as problematic behavior. And so I think in some ways for her, this is a long time coming. And I think the way to think of this meeting next week that Amazon will have with the FTC, sometimes it's called a last rights meeting. It's really a formality. I think it's not likely to deter the FTC from bringing a lawsuit. I fully expect that they will bring a lawsuit. And candidly, based on the pace of these things, that lawsuit probably won't see the inside of a courtroom for about 2 years, which may be long after Lina Khan has left the FTC.
I just want to remind our audience, Adam, that the Chamber of Progress is essentially a tech industry trade group, but antitrust is an area that you research and share policy perspective on regularly. When I was at Sun Valley a couple of weeks ago, the Microsoft Activision deal was firm in focus. And a lot of people were asking the question, why does the FTC keep picking fights that to many in the market, they feel that they can't win?
Well, it's a great question, and I think that there are things that the FTC can do that are more practical wins, but I think it's very clear that Lina Khan has come into the agency as a critic of past FTC chairs. She feels that they've been too conciliatory, and she wants to bring lawsuits, and I sort of call it a little bit of a YOLO strategy. I don't think she particularly cares if she loses those suits. I think this particular suit, based on the reporting and some of the leaks that have come out of the FTC about the things they're looking at, all of the behavior in question, Amazon, I think, has pretty compelling pro-consumer justifications for. But she's really seen a broader goal, which is to expand the range of antitrust law to encounter harms to suppliers and harms to sellers and harms to workers. And so I think she, is intent on bringing cases that she believes serve that mission. And so I don't think the losing record deters her. I think she thinks, well, we should try. And if we lose, then that might prompt Congress to change the laws. And I think that's pretty explicitly stated as a strategy of hers.
To the best of your knowledge, Adam, when they all go into a room and the FTC and Amazon sit down, what happens? I mean, what is it that one side has to convince the other of?
Well, it's interesting because I think if you look at the issues that the FTC has been investigating, these are the kinds of issues that in prior administrations and even in other countries might yield a settlement with Amazon rather than being taken to court. In fact, both the EU settled with Amazon on some of these issues related to Prime and what they call their Fulfillment by Amazon program last year. And the UK is actually exploring a similar settlement. If the FTC wanted to take a constructive approach here with Amazon, I think they could. And frankly, I think there's probably room for compromise. But I don't think that's what's going to happen because she has, pretty publicly dismissed settlements, again, as being overly conciliatory, sort of trimming the FTC's sails too much. And so I wouldn't expect that next week's meeting will be kind of an exchange or real opportunity to head off a lawsuit. It's really much more of a formality. And I would expect that the FTC will file their lawsuit pretty soon after those meetings.
Since last we spoke, Adam, I guess the big development in the world of technology and antitrust has been the Warren-Graham bill, basically the broad proposal for a new agency to regulate the technology industry. What was the Chamber of Progress's response to that?
Yeah, we took a look at that. I think one of the things that I see a lot in tech policy debates is you see policymakers doing things like that where they say, well, we need a new agency, right? We need a new regulator. There have been people who've called for that. What I think that does is it's frankly a little bit of a cheat because it puts aside the harder question of what behaviors policymakers want to ban, right? I think this Amazon case is a really good example. I think many people look at big tech companies and they think they've got a lot of power. We ought to regulate big companies. I think that's something that is broadly popular. But then when you look at the details, right, this case, I think, largely is going to be about Amazon Prime and around whether that bundle is pro-competitive. And so I think that, so I think there's a gap between, do we want more regulation? Sure, most people are for that. But then what is the problem we want solved? And again, if you look at this Amazon situation, I don't think that's something they're clamoring for change around.
So to remind our audience, what we've reported is that Chair Lina Khan and the agency's 3 other commissioners will meet with Amazon next week, according to sources. Both Amazon and the FTC declined to comment. Adam Kovacevic, Chamber of Progress founder and CEO, thank you very much. Now,